Hey folks, welcome back to Project Motor Racing and race 2 of our Nurburgring race weekend. And because there's been a gap between races, I have managed to sort out the prize money for race 2, and we are getting, depending on how we do, the 5,321 500 that it would have been for this longer race that I had planned. That assumes I do better than I did in the last race. This is a longer race, so we'll see how we do. We'll see. I've downloaded a setup for the car that's available on the Mod Hub, so I am going to give that a try. I don't know if it will be any better than what I was doing before. I guess we'll see. I don't know how different it is. So again, I guess we'll see. Something I am going to be doing is enabling traction control and ABS. Looks like we've got a lot more preload on the diff. We don't need that much fuel. I was doing a little bit of testing last night. I was racing with the wheel just to try and get used to using the wheel a bit more. And it turns out that you don't need that much fuel for this. So that's cool. It's an interesting channel balance on the audio. There's more in the left than the right, it would appear. Anyway, we should stop faffing and start driving, because I probably do need to make use of the time we have available. So we are racing in the evening for this race. That is entirely because I created this event by copying the event we used for the last one and didn't change the time of the second race. Yep, there is no other reason than that. So this is a longer race. As I said, it is 12 laps of the GP circuit. So it's going to take me a bit longer. I'm actually hoping I have enough time to get this finished, because if I don't, it's gonna suck, because I'm gonna have to abandon this video. We'll see. Yeah, life has the reality of time is sometimes limited. I don't know why I'm battling this guy on an out lap. It might actually be useful if I have someone to follow on the hot lap. Apart from the fact that my driving style tends to be not consistent with the speed that the AI runs things. So yeah, I guess it sounds way more serious than it actually is. Full disclosure, yeah. When I was playing with the wheel, I did actually attempt to record it as this video. But I found talking and using the wheel so much harder than talking and using a controller. I don't know why. It's just, yeah, the motor skill set of doing more than moving my fingers it's way harder. It's just way harder. I think I've spoken about that previously. In fact, potentially in the first one of these, or another one of these, particularly driving this car. Now, I didn't have the issue I had last time trying to use the wheel of driving this car. I was actually able to get some consistency of driving. I was a little bit better. I wasn't constantly going backwards, but I just found it really that wasn't good. I just found it really hard to do consistent commentary and race using the wheel, to the point where in that what would have been video, I was talking about potentially switching to pre-recording the gameplay footage and doing commentary over the top. The slight drawback of doing that is that I think it would lose the live reaction to the inevitable screw-ups that I do. You know, the reality is I'm not great at this game. And I think the kind of the visceral is a bit of an overreaction. The live reaction of when I screw up is a lot better than me going, oh yeah, coming up, I'm going to crash. So yeah, and I think canning the footage is going to lose some of that, but talking while I drive does make it harder for me. Yep, I'm a man. I struggle sometimes with multitasking. At least playing this game, which requires a level of concentration more than some of the other games that I play, getting my breaking points wrong. It's just a thing, you know. It's just a thing. This game requires a level of focus that is higher than some other games that I play. It's just the nature of the beast. And I don't know, maybe I'll get better at that over time, but we're just going to have to work with it, I think. And I'm just going to have to make a call at some point as to whether I'm going to keep doing live commentary or whether I'm going to recant stuff. And that will let me edit things a little slicker, maybe. You know, if I need to do a long practice session to get good, I can maybe edit out some of the dull laps where I'm learning a circuit, and make the video a bit snappier, because sometimes I am struggling to find stuff to say as I talk through a really long video where I'm not very good, and I'm having to, you know, do 20 minutes of practice and qualifying. Now, I could live edit that out. I am capable of switching off OBS or just not talking and saying I'll be back in a minute. But then I don't know if I'm going to be capturing a good hot lap. So it's a little bit tricky. So if I just recorded me racing and then talked over it, that might be easier. But hey, we never always go for the easy option here. Although I am in a way, because I'm sticking to racing on a controller at the moment, because that is the easy option. Just looking at my time, and I guess they're not counting it because of my track limit infractions. So, because I'm faster than the guy in 15th. But because they had a track limit infraction, I'm not getting it counted as a time. I'm just noticing that. So we need to get some clean laps in. Well, a clean lap, because we've only got 2.5 minutes left on the clock. And I think we could be quick enough to get a decent position on the grid if I can get clean lap. So I think we accept that this lap is a bit of a write-off. And yeah, so when I was driving using the wheel, the thing that I found which helped with the stability problem I had last time was a little bit of trail braking. So staying on the brakes a little bit into the corner, that seemed to give this car a lot more stability. That really helped with the problem I was having before driving this car with wheel, which was basically if I was braking heavily into a slow corner from a fast corner, we need to find a lot of time. Then I would end up backwards, basically. And but I found if I stayed on the brakes a little bit, that would keep the car much more planted, much more stable, and yeah. And that's a kind of recognized technique. That's why I'm using it, because I've picked it up from watching and reading and learning. That's a thing you do. You stay on the brakes a little bit just to give yourself a little bit more stability in the car. And it really does help quite a lot. So, yeah. let's try and not screw up this turn this time, because this has been one where we've had big issues. And then we have issues going into the next turn straight away. We are not doing well on this at all. We really are not. Oh well. I guess the good thing about these videos is the story rather than the driver talent. Maybe we can find new talent. Maybe I can get ChatGPT to drive the car. I don't think we can do that. Might need to, but I've been watching a lot of videos about getting AI to do stuff in video games, and yeah, they're quite fun. Channel called Code Bullet, which is a huge channel, so you may have heard of it. But yeah, it's a lot, very, very fun channel to watch. And maybe I could get an AI to drive the car for me. It would probably do better. It would probably do better. And in trying to gain time, I've lost time because I managed to outbrake myself. Good job, me. Well done. You freaking idiot. Well done, me. Well done, me. Let's see how badly we end up last on the grid, shall we? Quite a lot slower than the opposition. So I'm going to go back because a bad workman blames his tool to the default setup. With just a reduction in fuel. That's what I was running previously. Yeah, let's ignore qualifying Ben. Okay, race time. So let's see how we get on, shall we? Obviously awful performance in qualifying, so we have a lot of work to do. Let's see if we can make up for that. I'm hoping I have time to finish this race. May not. Time is limited. Time is limited in the real world. And I may have been a little bit stupid setting myself up with a 12-lap race. With 12 relatively long laps. We'll see how we get on. I'm hoping I don't end up having to abandon this partway through. Because that'd be really frustrating. We'll see. We'll see. This is attempt number 3 of trying to record this episode. Life's busy, folks. Life's busy. So, because there's been multiple attempts at trying to capture this video. I'm not sure if I said that attempt number 1 was trying to record it with the wheel. And I'm pretty sure I have said in the qualifying section that basically recording whilst using the wheel is very difficult. So, yeah, anyway, we'll see how we get on. Yeah. Finding a consistent time slot. And me not at the moment being so exhausted that I can't concentrate for long enough to race for like 40 minutes is not always easy at the moment. But dude, if I get any kind of penalty out of that, then the world is very, very injusticed. But yeah. So this is a game that I have to concentrate on. I think I said there's a way more than any of the other games that I play currently. So it's not one I can just pick up and start playing. going to record and have success. So, and do you have to kind of try and time when I record these? So I'm hoping that I have time to get this in and done and in the bag without any more issues of interruptions and things, because it's also one that's much harder to interrupt a session and have things flow. A feature actually I wish they'd bring in is being able to save your progress. So like if I could do qualifying and save, and it doesn't really matter on this because obviously qualifying was not good. But if I could do the qualifying session and then save and come back, that would be really helpful for me with any of the race weekend options actually. But that's not currently a feature of the game. You have to sit and do it all in one session. And I don't like that, you know. I'm someone that tends to game and need to be able to pause the game or go away from the game and come back. And this doesn't really allow for that. And I know you real sim racers are not into that probably, but for me, it's a feature of how I game. And I don't know if they fixed it, but the game had the bug where if you pause, particularly if you pause for too long, if you unpaused, it'd come back on hyperspeed. And that was, unplayable. But yeah. Having a save option would be really nice. It would be really nice. I don't mean like mid-race save. That's probably too difficult. But certainly after a session. So after you've done qualifying, let me save. Let me save, particularly with how sometimes the game crashes. Particularly with a career mode where if you've entered an event, you've then got to pay to do it again. Now, on PC, particularly if you know how XML works, that's less of an issue because you can just go in and add the money back. If you're on console, you are SOL and you could bankrupt your save. Which is not good. It's not good, folks. So yeah, I'd kind of like to see that as a feature. That you can save your progress and come back. I realize we're only running traction control on one. And we're not running full ABS. And by making that change then, I've screwed myself. Should have been more alert. Let's get the traction control and the ABS turned up. That'll probably help me out a little bit. But as always, in changing the setup, I kind of end up screwing myself a little bit. But hopefully, on average, will be quicker. So, actually, this is an expensive race weekend because there's been a lot of damage incurred. Been bumper to bumper racing, and our sponsorship is not covering all of the costs, and we didn't make much money, didn't make any money out of the first race, and no idea what we're going to get out of this one. So yeah, just as a reminder from the last video, we picked up some sponsors for this race weekend. They're paying us £2,000. And if we win, a £500 bonus. And then our other sponsor is picking up $1,500 worth of the repair costs. We've already spent more than that on repairs out of the first race. So we are in a bit of a hole financially. Unless I can pull some kind of miracle out of this race. But let's just race and not worry about that. Just see what happens. And obviously there's no telling if my miraculous driving skills will impress any other sponsors and they'll want to give us buckets full of money. That's down to what the sponsors want to do or what ChatGPT decides in the background. If you didn't watch the first video, you should go watch it because I explain how this career mode is working. But essentially it's powered by ChatGPT, running the gaming, the career side in the background, and based on my results of like damage received and how I do in qualifying and racing, it will generate sponsorship and driving offers and stuff. So obviously out of our first race, I doubt we're getting much, but maybe if I'm, maybe they'll be impressed with how I've done in this race. I don't know how all of that ChatGPT was doing all of that in the background. But clearly we've not done as well as our first weekend, where we made a lot of cash, but that's at least keeping us afloat for now. And it generated our initial sponsorship offers. So yeah, that's how this is working. So yeah, and maybe they'll be impressed with the fact that I started last on the grid, and at the moment I've gained some places. Yes, that was not a good breaking into that chicane, but I'm a little bit nervous coming in there because I suffer with the track limits and I also don't want to end up backwards. So let's just see if we can keep eating away at the places and not end up last, That'd be nice. That'd be nice. And remembering that I'm not going to gain significantly, just not braking for a corner. That is not how this works. As we drive into the evening sunset. But yeah, that is not how the game works, or not how motor racing works. You can't just catch a car by not braking for the next corner, Pro tip there, folks. Pro racing tips from me. You do need to brake for corners, in case you didn't know. You brake for corners, it will help you get around the next corner. Yeah, I know. Shocker, huh? Right. We're doing okay for fuel. Just give that AI driver a little bit of a scare there and making it look like we were maybe going to try and overtake him, give him a little bit of a nudge. Because, we need more damage on the car. Or I didn't quite get my corner exit speed right. And another place. So P5 is where the money starts. Not to be counting our chickens too soon. And it's only £500, dollars or euros, because their currency doesn't really matter in game. It's all the same amount. But yeah, it's not a huge prize pot, but I guess it helps with our negative cash flow if we can get into the money bags. And then each position that we go up, that gets more. I can't remember what it is for the championship monies, but we're so far down on the championship that we're probably out of that anyway. And we're not even into P5 yet, so I'm definitely counting chickens before we've cooked the eggs. If only I could have done that in qualifying, hey? If only I could have done that in qualifying. I tend to do better in the race, and that's, you know, the nice thing about this being a longer race is I've got time to grind away. As long as I don't massively screw things up, we are grinding away at these other cars. We're grinding away at our own car. There's lots of grinding going on. But, you know, if we can work our way through, keep gaining places, that'll be a good thing. I wish, and, you know, algorithms don't feel pressure, but I wish the algorithms that are controlling the other cars would screw up sometimes when they're under pressure. Now, I'm not really putting them under huge pressure, I guess, but it would be nice if my battered car hovering over the back of them would make them feel a little bit nervous, you know? You think they'd maybe be a little bit worried that I'm going to run into them. I think we can see first place up there. That is definitely counting chickens, because I don't think we're even closing on them, but you know. Chicken counting is fun. So why not count some chickens? And that was a nice little overtake maneuver there. And across the line. Well done, Ben. Good counting, sir. Good counting. I'm waiting for someone to put the time into releasing a mod pack so we can change the voices. But the problem there is it probably, I think I've spoken about this before, it probably needs scripting, and that means it won't be crossplay, which means it probably won't end up on ModHub. That's not a problem for me because I don't worry about crossplay because I don't do multiplayer, but yeah, it's just quite nice. It's only a livery because I'm not too fussed about paint jobs. Yes, I create custom ones for this, but I'm not too fussed about all the fancy ones. To see VSR Modding Sir from Farm Sim appearing on the PMR Mod Hub. So that was kind of cool. And also kind of cool if Eagles has updated his GT4 F1 pack. So if you're enjoying that, make sure you grab the update because it's got more stuff in it, and I think he's tweaked the cars a bit and updated the file that generates the driving line for them like this, and also helps control the AI. So yeah, check that out if you're into fun things. One of the things that update does is sort out the auto gear shifting, I believe. Yeah, that's kind of cool. If we can get past this guy at some point, that would be good. That would be good. No. No. I don't want to be too enthusiastic through that chicane, because if I get it wrong, it goes properly wrong. And I don't want that. We don't want to go properly wrong. Tires are holding up okay. Sunset looks quite nice, especially considering it's Giant's engine. which doesn't do lighting particularly well unless you start modding it. Just my opinion. Well, actually, the opinion of many, because a lot of people in Farm Sim run shaders to improve the lighting. I don't in Farm Sim, but and if you go on Nexus mods, I think there are some shader mods for PMR, and some mods to cheatily improve the handling of cars, but massively improve the grip and stuff like that. Obviously, I'm not running those because otherwise my driving would probably be a whole ton better. But anywho, into 4th. If we can hold this, obviously. Yep. Longer race better for me. There is a very definitely a threshold for that though, because I find fatigue kicks in. But we'll see. Let's just keep grinding away. The car is going to be so battered at the end of this. I don't know what the maximum percentage of value of the car versus damage cost is. It was one of the things I wanted to work out for this career mode to feed to ChatGPT, so that it had a perception of car totaled versus car not totaled. So I'm giving it a subjective, very damaged versus lightly damaged, as well as the cost of the damage. Within the save file, it does have numbers, but they're per component, and I don't know how many components there are, so, it's kind of tricky to work it all out without spending a lot of time. And I haven't done that yet. So, yeah, we are doing better than we did in qualifying. So that's good. That's good. So far, anyway. So far. I would very happily take 4th place. That would give us £1,000 prize money. Which would be very nice in terms of helping cover our costs. 3rd would give us £2,000 prize money. 2nd would give us £4,000 prize money, I think, or maybe 3,000. I don't remember. Which, considering I did these last night, is kind of bad. The prize money changes, that is. So yeah, that's a thing. Let's see how we get on. I did not expect this kind of performance. Having seen how slow we were in qualifying relative to everyone else. 3 laps to go. Let's not throw it away at least. I don't know. I'm thinking stupidly now, but I don't know who is where in like the championship bit of this weekend. Now we're going to, we're not going to do spectacularly because we did awfully in the other stuff. Let's throw our lights on as well. Others have got their lights on. But we did get a couple of championship points out of last time, so but that's definitely counting chickens before eggs. So, and I am struggling to close in on P1. So Matthias, he's got a bit of speed. But that section seems to be where I'm a little bit quicker than the AI. Most of the rest of the track, they've got the edge on me. I guess you can see that in the sector splits as well. It's the fast corners where I am faster. Had my brave pills compared to them, but I'm a bit more cautious on the brakes a lot of the time. 2 more laps. 2 more laps. Let's go. Let's go. I think the key now is to not get stupid. Not be overly brave and do anything reckless. Because having qualified in last, any decent result is decent, you know? That's a profound statement, isn't it? Any decent result is decent. I know. But, yeah. I think if I can get like a second, that'll be really good. So we'll just try and not get stupid. Because that is going to be the best thing, I think. He says he starts to eye up the back bumper of Matthias as we get into the section where I actually have some speed. And we fuel lights on, but that's fine because we are coming into the last lap. Keep it pinned. Oh. Well, I didn't expect that. Can I hold it together for an lap? Yep. Isn't this where you tell me to pit now, Ben? Yep, outbraked myself there. Oh, dude. Dude, give me room. Thankfully, that heavy damage isn't affecting the handling. Yep, see, this is when Ben tells me to pit. So do we think that is a wise strategy? To pit on the last lap? Surely that's simple logic to implement in the game. Laps remaining, less than 1. Should we signal for you to pit? No. Can't be that difficult. I know they've got other priorities, but really, that is not hard logic to implement. Reminded me of a supermarket logic, automated supermarket checkout logic rant that I'm going to have at some point. But right now I need to concentrate. This has been a battle, folks. This has been a battle. And you can see from the state of the car. But when it tells me I have the difficulty set just about right, I will take that, folks. That was hard earned. That was hard earned. Jeez. That was a battle. That was a battle. £5,000. Let's see what we get for our championship win. No way. So we're going to have to knock 20 grand off again because we got a sponsorship bonus. But that puts us on £57,000. Car is very battered. So we have £6,000 worth of car damage. Of which the sponsors are going to pay £1,500. And then we'll have got £2,500 from our other sponsor because we got a win. So I need to add £2,500. I need to add £4,000 and then take off 20 grand. So take off 16 grand. So we're on about £61,000. I'm really happy with that. Could not believe that we actually managed to make that comeback. Let me know if you're enjoying these videos. I hope you are. Let me know where you think we should go racing next. Thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. And I will see you all next time.